What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much again for tuning in here at Beautiful Day to Be Better. We are a nonprofit organization whose mission is to spread awareness towards financial literacy. We want to take this time and dedicate the instrumental chosen for this week in honor of the late DMX. We here at Beautiful Day to Be Better would like to send our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the friends and family affected by this tragedy, and would like to take this moment of silence to honor his life. Today is week 13 of my 2021 financial journey. For those of you that are new, I pretty much just document everything that goes on in the venture that I chose to commit to this year, which is sneaker reselling and the stock market. In this video in particular, as usual, we will go over my mental health from the past week, some of the things that I'm learning in the stock market, and also a new company, as you would say, or a fund that I invested in recently. I will also discuss like a different approach towards my sneaker investing and the reasoning behind it as well. Before we get into the video, I would like to let you guys know that we are still trying to accomplish our B.E.T.T.E.R campaign. It stands for Building Effective Teaching Through Educational Reading. The mission of the campaign is to provide 3 book bundles about different avenues of financial literacy and distribute them to 50 people. The objective of the campaign is to bring awareness in different areas of financial literacy and encourage discussions as a group. To use the books as tools to improve reading and comprehension, as we believe these skills are very crucial in being successful in our journey towards financial literacy. The money we need to raise to fulfill this campaign is $1,600, and we have currently raised about a total of $270. We plan on raising the money by selling our wristbands and our website at B.E.T.T.E.R. All the proceeds will go towards raising the money needed to fund our B.E.T.T.E.R campaign. Please contact us through our website or social media accounts for any questions or concerns, as we are more than happy to answer them. As far as my mental health for the week, I'd say I was at about an 8.8 out of 10. The reason being is I look back on the hours I managed to log in regards to my stock market education and my sneaker reselling venture, and I'm quite proud of the total hours that I put in. It definitely exceeded the amount of hours I plan on putting in for that week, and I'm quite happy about that, especially the amount of consistency that from pretty much all day, all 7 days, of the week, I managed to put some decent amount of time in for each particular sector. And finally, got my own personal pair, man. Whew. As you can see, I already wore them, man. The gentleman that got me this deal, man, oh my God, the price was such a blessing. I couldn't even resist it. So thank you so much, bro. It definitely went to a great home. And as far as the shoe itself, man, I put them on, like I said, put the Carolina blue laces right away, and man, the vibe just feels right, man. It feels like as if I'm meant to wear the shoe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like if you ever seen the movie Aquaman, like remember when he finally had a chance to grab that trident of Neptune? Like, it just feels like it's right. It feels right. Like, the same thing with me with the shoe, man. Like, whew, it's just crazy. I might fuck around and talk to Fish, man. Boy, looking so wavy with these on. As far as takeaways from the book Atomic Habits, unfortunately I didn't have time this week to read the whole book. It's my first time reading this book for, pretty much since the beginning of the year. Hopefully I don't make a habit out of it, and I promise to get back to reading on it as quick as possible. As far as the time I managed to log in for this week in regards to my stock market education, I had about a total of 9 hours and 55 minutes. Throughout this time, one of the things I did is to familiarize myself with some of the terms and valuation metrics that investors use to help them guide their decision on whether a stock is a buy or a sell. As far as the valuation metrics that I familiarize myself with, these include the price to earnings, price to book, price to sales, price to free cash flow, and price per earnings per growth, or the PEG ratios. And these valuation metrics helps investors get a better or more complete story about a particular stock. Kind of like with what I do. Again, my background is nursing, and what I mean by that is, like, let's say a patient comes in, obviously there's something wrong with them, and for me to find out, to have a better idea on what's going on, I have to look at certain tests that can help me like guide or kind of like figure out in a way the big picture with this patient. Like example, like a patient's health history can tell me one thing about what's wrong with the patient. You can say a patient's health history is very similar to a P/E ratio. His x-ray results is the price to book. His lab values is the price to free cash flow, and so on and so forth. And what I'm trying to pretty much say is that one metric system can only tell you so much, and for you to have a better understanding on what's going on with that patient, or in analogy, a company's health, that you have to look at these other metrics, and then you can have all the information that can guide you with the best decision possible as far as what's going on. And as far as the sources that I use to educate myself on these terms, Investopedia.com has a written definition of each of the terms I just mentioned, and for me to have a visual example of it, you can obviously just YouTube it. I tend to watch 3 or 4 videos of the same thing. That way it kind of gives me different perspective. One video, I might not understand what it means. It's not that the person's fault, it's just that, his way of teaching doesn't resonate or with me, or I'm not understanding it just as well. And like, the beauty of it is, like I said, if you watch the next video, then maybe he can explain it in terms that you can better understand, So that's the way I approach things. Again, I look at the written definition, Investopedia. I watch some YouTube videos about it, and lastly, I apply it to my current investments. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a little trial and error. You're learning it, now you just gotta apply it, and you're not gonna get it right the first time. And like I said, it's just a matter of consistency, and hopefully I'll get to a point where I can understand it, to a point where I can explain it to you guys. I also invested some capital in an ETF. An ETF is very similar to a mutual fund or index fund, in which you invest money in a pool of investments decided by the fund, and this allows you to minimize your risk by diversifying to a pool of stocks, and also having professionals manage your money. Now, obviously, the downside of it compared to individual stock is your possible rate of return may not be as high, because with minimized risk, obviously you also minimize the amount of return you can make. And also, these funds charge a fee. I believe the mutual fund charges 2% on average per year, whether you make money or not. And I think index and ETFs charges like 0.4. And the main difference between an ETF and an index fund, from my understanding, is just that the ETF is treated like a stock, meaning it's publicly traded daily. All hours of operation of the stock market. I believe you can only purchase mutual index funds like once a day or something like that. If you guys want more information on it, there's obviously YouTube videos of it that can better explain the differences between the three. The ETF I invested in specifically is from the fund called ARK Invest. Kathy Wood is the CEO, and pretty much in a summary, it has 6 sectors, all have different divisions, I guess you would say, but pretty much the fund focuses on investing in disruptive innovation, such as, I think there's a sector where they focus on companies about space tourism or artificial intelligence and things like that. And based on their track record, they had a return, I think, of like 15% last year, which is a lot better, which is not significantly, but slightly higher than the S&P. And also just what they're investing in, I'm a firm believer. Obviously, innovation is something that I support a whole lot. And yeah, just their vision on what they want to invest in is something that I support. And also, this is a way for me to kind of practice diversification. As far as my sneaker investment time, I managed to log in a total of 9 hours and 55 minutes. Actually, it's actually a little mix-up between stock market education and the sneakers. The stock market education is actually 13 hours and 8 minutes, and the sneaker reselling aspect, I managed to log in 9 hours and 55 minutes. About this time, I pretty much was trying to get inventory, whether it's through signing up for raffles and getting these pairs on release day, maybe getting some unclaimed pairs the day after the initial release, and pretty much making transactions through Quick Flip as well. Now, Quick Flip is something different that I add on this particular venture. I know initially I said that my strategy for sneakers will be long-term investing, hold them as they go up in value and sell them for a profit and so. But with Quick Flips, it allows me in a way to network more, whether it's to make transactions from different buyers, that kind of gives me some clientele, or kind of network with other resellers, and maybe they can help fix that inventory issue that I can face sometime ahead of the future. Another thing I decided to do in regards to my sneaker venture is to track them a lot more closely. And what I mean by that is I started documenting like my sales for that particular week, how much like the cost of goods, which is pretty much like the money I used to get the product, and the price I sold it for. That will give me the net profit in the dollar amount, and also what the net profit margin is percentage wise. Also, at the moment, I think my only expense is pretty much gas, but somewhere down the line I'll add that up as well. And what I also plan on doing with the net profit is, one of the things that I'll do is I'll divide it with the total number of hours that I put in for that week, and that will give me pretty much a number on how much money I made for that hour. And another thing that I will do is 7% of the profits will go towards funding more merchandise for the nonprofit's B.E.T.E.R campaign, which is again building effective teaching through educational reading, where we plan on giving away 50 3-book bundles to 50 people that discuss different areas of financial literacy. And the reason why I went with, instead of contributing it directly to the campaign, is that with investing in merchandise, it kind of gives us a larger rate of return that we can put in the actual campaign. and also it helps like with the brain recognition as well. To kind of give a case study on that particular adjustment, let's say last week, which counts from last Saturday to last Sunday, and my sales from that, I only sold 1 unit. Again, this is quick flipping is something I just started last week. Cost of goods was $205. I sold it for $290. That gave me an $85 profit, and net profit margin is pretty much 41%. And if I divide that with the hours that I put in for that week, which is 9 hours 55 cents, that gives me a number of $8.57 per hour. So that right there shows you that, you know, in the beginning, sneakers is not very lucrative as a lot of people think. Because if you think about it, you made little slightly below minimum wage. Now that's something you gotta ask yourself, is that worth doing? Or, you know, you can look at it as like, where can I improve? How can I increase my per hour? Do I need to increase my transactions? Do I need to sell more units? Do I need to increase my profit margin from like 41% to maybe 45%? And things like that, man. Like a lot of things you can tweak to kind of increase your bottom line, and I think that's the beauty of it, and I'm really excited to apply it in this coming weeks. And that pretty much wraps it up. I know this video is a little longer than usual, but I really appreciate you guys sticking through it up until this point. I hope you guys find some value in some way, and if you do have any questions or concerns, just feel free to DM us. We really appreciate and encourage engagement in this whole adventure. As always, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are achieving whatever it is, financial goals that you have set your mind into. If you guys don't have a financial goal, kind of like, you know, think about it, give it some thought, see if it's important enough to you. If you got questions on what financial goals you want, or you just want to have someone to talk to about your financial goal, feel free, man. Hit us up here. We're more than happy to listen and you know, conversate about our financial goal, and pretty much, you know, proactively taking part of this nonprofit's mission, which is pretty much to spread awareness towards financial literacy. Again, thank you so much, guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. God bless, and always remember, it's a beautiful day to be better, man.